I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki, and I'm in this beautiful hotel. I came for this conference tagged Rich and Righteous, organized by Pastor Chika Joseph at Aba, that's the name of the church. And I'm so glad to be here. I've been in the hotel room since morning. I didn't go out. I slept yesterday. I came in on Saturday, went to preach on Sunday. I slept Sunday evening till this morning. But that's not the subject matter of my discussion with you this evening. I'm talking about rest. And God rested. And God prescribed that we should remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. And maybe because Jesus rose on Sunday, we changed our church services to Sunday, and we have a whole week of work in most countries. Work morning, night, and day. Research has shown that Seventh-day Adventist members, Seventh-day Adventist church members in the United States of America and Canada and some other countries live longer than other Christians because of the Sabbath rest and their diet. That is to say, a lot of diseases that people suffer from, they don't suffer from them because they rest. That Sabbath rest is like a 52-day holiday in a year, plus their leave. So you see that rest is an important part. The life of stress that we live in the world today, and in Nigeria in particular, stress can precipitate a lot of illnesses, from hypertension to stroke to cancer, diabetes, to rashes, to migraine, to asthmatic attack, to all kinds. A lot of illnesses are precipitated by stress. So arrow number one, learn to rest. A great man of God in this country who has been doing a lot of work, the OPM leader, collapsed after receiving the Deborah family from the north. And they collapsed. And when they asked him what happened, some people were saying it was an attack. And he said it was not an attack, that it was stress, and that he had traveled to several countries to see where the students are, and that they did not rest before coming to that ceremony, and he collapsed. And they needed rest. That's a very educated and enlightened pastor who did not want to blame the devil for everything. Rest. So arrow number one, Christians must learn to rest. Number two, people must learn to relax. There are a lot of things that bother me, a lot of things that I did not cause myself, issues that I did not initiate, people you have warned and they will not take to corrections and they cause problems, marital challenges, economic challenges, ministerial challenges, financial challenges. But I learned to relax. I learned that from one of my friends. He's always very relaxed. He said that he will look at an issue beyond what he is seeing and ask himself, what can I do? And if there's nothing he can do about it, he will just relax. Learn to relax. There were issues before you were born. There will be issues before and after you have passed on. I don't put myself under unnecessary pressures. This particularly with ceremonies. Ceremonies bore me and stress me. You want to do so many things for just a simple thing that happens. Maybe it's a birthday, maybe it's a marriage, maybe it's a retirement, maybe it's death. We spend so much energy, and these activities are lined up one after the other. And before you know it, once the hormones that will cause the stress hormones have been released and the organ damage has been done, it takes a lot of effort for you to revert it. So, learn to relax. Arrow number two, learn to recreate. Have time for fun. Do recreation. Play. We're too serious-minded. People think that I'm a very serious-minded, hard-working, motivational speaker. No, I learn to relax. I learn to recreate. I might not go to the field to run, but in the farm, I learn to recreate. I do things that you might not believe. And you see the way I do my videos, I'm not very energetic or officials or not a tie and be squeezed. I try to find avenues for recreation in my own way that suits my age, my health status, and my security. So arrow number 2, recreation. Arrow number 4 is release of tension. Sometimes you're just tensed up. As I traveled and came here now, before I came, there was a burden on my head, a pressure on my head. I came here and the tension is released. And one of the ways I release my tension is by laughter. As I'm preaching, I create so much laughter. Sometimes you might mistake me for a comedian, but in the process of creating so much laughter, I release stress, I release tension. So there has to be an avenue for the release of stress and tension. And one of the best ways for me is with my wife. When I'm with her, I release the tension that is built up in me. But sometimes women don't understand. They don't understand. They come, they bring domestic issues, they bring this on, that, this on. I just want to sit down with you. I want to lie down with you. And just cuddle you, and even if we make love, I just want to let the tension get out of my system. Don't add more tension. Don't start asking me for money when we're on bed or negotiating issues. Any decision I arrive at that time is not binding because I was under pressure. But that does not apply to non-married people. You can play sports, you can sing, you can dance, and then travel is one thing that helps me release stress. I love to travel. Then the next thing, release of stress, recreation, relaxation. Then you need a time to reflect. One of the things that helps me in a photo is that when I get to that place, Petra Institute and farming, it's not necessarily the money I make them. I reflect on issues. I take time to reflect. The environment, the serene environment, helps me to reflect, to think about issues. So you need time to reflect about your life. If not, you will just be busy making the same mistakes, spending energy without reevaluating your life. You need time to relax. Then you need to develop relationships. One, and they have an avenue to nurture your relationship with people, to grow your relationship, to relate with your spouse. Under tension and pressure, Isaac was romancing his wife, and the king looked from the window and saw that he was romancing and caressing his wife. So romance is very good in married situations or married people. Isaac was afraid of Abimelech, whether they would kill him or not because of the beauty of his wife. But at least let him just romance a little bit. So why am I saying this? This hotel I'm living in now is built by an unbeliever, most likely. And we have come here, people have come, there was a swimming pool, people were swimming, there's a bar, people are drinking, the rooms are here, and yesterday the whole place was jammed together because there was a marriage ceremony, there was a reception, the hotel rooms were booked full, and people were all over the place. I believe it's time that Christians start to develop centers where people can read, people can rest. Arrow number 3, people can relax. Arrow number 4, people can recreate. Arrow number 5, people can develop their relationships with others. And the arrows I mentioned, let Christians develop centers. Most of the places we patronize are owned by unbelievers, and there are things you might not want to see that you see. But we can build centers, and that's one of the things I want to do at the front door. Apart from the school, it's going to be a place where people can come to, they relate with each other, cross-fertilize ideas, they relax, they read, they reflect, they rest, they recreate. In the process, people will go back refreshed. To 10 stuff. When they say call to glory for a life well spent, really spent doing what? If it's only money that you look for, and you can't travel and live looking for money, then you are a slave to money. You are a slave to money. I keep asking myself that foreigners come to Africa. Why is it that Africans don't enjoy the African themselves. You live at the foot of the Kilimanjaro. It will help people carry load to the peak. Why don't you develop a festival of climbing the mountain on your own? We have beautiful animals, beautiful sceneries around us. But African is always tensed up, fighting each other over politics, fighting over religion, fighting over blasphemy, fighting, struggling, back. What is it? I'm living here refreshed. I'm going back home ready to work. Even the environment I live in is very refreshing. I have trees. Somebody told me that it's as if that I make living in Nigeria very refreshing, very easy. It's not easy, but I've chosen to make it easy. Happiness, joy, relaxation comes from my mind, not necessarily what is happening around me. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki, and God rested. Learn to rest before you are late to rest. God bless you.